Welcome back. If you've just joined us, you're watching the news at 10 on Channels Television, coming to you live from Lagos. A reminder of our top stories. Suspended PDP National Secretary Olagunsoye Oyinlola, 2 G7 governors back out of alliance. Former military President Ibrahim Babangida says alliance is good for democracy. PDP suspends 2 members of Tony Woye campaign organization for disobeying the National Party's stance on Anambra supplementary election, and former Italian Prime Minister Silvio Berlusconi expelled from the Senate over his conviction for tax fraud. Now, a quick reminder to you that all our top stories are on our website, channelstv.com, and on youtube.com/channelsweb. To get us on the move, visit m.channelstv.com to view us live on your mobile device. You can also download the Channels TV app for Android, iOS, and Windows phones from their respective stores. And if you'd like to be part of the news, you can interact with Channels Eyewitness feature on our Android and Windows 8 platforms. So if you have a picture or video to share with us, all you need to do is download the Channels TV Android app on your device, swipe to reveal the Eyewitness menu, and then follow the instructions to share your reports, pictures, and videos. The Senate committee, which investigated the killing of 8 people in an uncompleted building in Apo, Abuja, has said that the incident was not a case of extrajudicial killing, but the outcome of a hastily executed operation. The Senate committee in its report notes that the security agencies had convincing intelligence to believe that some Boko Haram members were among the over 100 occupants of the uncompleted building. The report was contested by some lawmakers who said the committee deviated from its mandate.
The memory of the killings of 8 squatters at an uncompleted building in Apu may be hazy in the minds of some Nigerians, but the Senate is not prepared to let the matter die. In the aftermath of the killings, the Senate had asked a joint committee to investigate the alleged extrajudicial killings of the 8 people by a combined team of soldiers and state security operatives. The security agencies involved had said that they carried out the operation after receiving intelligence reports that some Boko Haram members were among those occupying the uncompleted building and had hid weapons there. At Senate proceedings, the chairman of the committee, Senator Mohammed Maguru, laid bare the findings from the committee's investigation. Senator Maguru stated that out of the 15 persons arrested during the incident, 4 of them have confessed to being Boko Haram members.
There is a Boko Haram cell in Abuja planning to carry out terrorist activities in the area. The death of 8 people and wounding of 11 others was not a case of extrajudicial killing, but the outcome of hasty executed operations on the part of the security agencies.
But immediately after the report was read, another lawmaker, also a retired military officer, rejected the report.
This report from the outset digressed completely from the task given to us. We were told to investigate what happened on the night of 20th of August 2013 that led to the killing of 8 Nigerians and wounding of 13 others, which led to an outcry that it was extrajudicial killing. This report digressed and went into discussing the anti-terrorist operations of the whole country.
This drew the ire of some lawmakers.
His comments, grave as they are, amount to an ambush for the rest of us. It's an ambush because he's a member of the committee. So he should have availed us of his views so that we compare his views with the findings of the report.
Disagreements aside, the lesson from the report of the committee is the need for security operatives to be more mindful of civilian lives during the operations. Linda Akibi, Channels Television News.
An Abuja magistrate court has transferred the case against Kelvin Ezigbe and 2 others accused of kidnapping in the South-South region and the Federal Capital Territory to the Federal High Court. The magistrate, Usman Shuaibu, took the decision following an application by the prosecutor, Clifford Osage, who said the suspects were involved in an act of terrorism over which the court has no jurisdiction. He therefore asked the court to withdraw the charges against the suspects.
Longer be a hiding place for those who evade paying taxes in Nigeria if the effort of the federal government is anything to go by. At its weekly meeting today, the Federal Executive Council approved the employment of the services of an internationally renowned firm, the McKinsey, to assist the Federal Inland Revenue Services in its tax drive. A briefing State House correspondents on the approval, the Minister for Finance, Dr. Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala, said the decision follows a finding that over 65% of registered taxpayers in the country have not filed any returns in the past 2 years. State House correspondent Chukwuma Onekusi reports.
The non-oil sector of the Nigerian economy is said to be receiving a boost, and the federal government says this is a time to strengthen the tax collection system if it must make more money to take care of infrastructure development like other developing countries of the world.
Working with several companies, for example, McKinsey & Company, which is an internationally renowned firm, was able to help both South Africa and Angola, and invited them to do a diagnostic of some of what is wrong and what we can improve in our tax system. They found that about 65% of our registered taxpayers have not filed returns in the past 2 years. That 75% of our medium and small businesses are not currently in the tax system. Those that are registered but they are not paying tax. They found that about 30% of the companies operating under pioneer status abuse those incentives and use that to evade tax. This is just a sample of the kind of information they found.
Poor addressing system in Nigerian cities has come to the attention of the federal government, though the constitutional responsibility of local government. The federal government says it is stepping in with this new policy to standardize the system.
What we are trying to do at the federal government level is to create a standard and consistent manner in which we address houses and buildings in the country. Some state governments or local governments are ahead of others, but what we find is that there's inconsistency. So when you're trying to post letters or identify buildings, depending on which state you're in, it's actually quite different.
5 federal roads said to be deplorable are receiving attention this season, with the Lori-Jeba-Kaduna Road, which will cost over 14 billion naira.
The third contract is contract for the dualization of Kano-Katsina Road, phase 1, from Kano town, at the outskirts of Kano town, at Dawanau roundabout to Katsina state border in Kano state, in favor of Mr. CCECC Nigeria Limited in the sum of 14 billion naira with a completion period of 30 months.
The federal government believes that these roads are receiving attention because they are very critical in the national road network, while some of them are important as they connect Nigeria to the outside world. Chukwuma Onekusi, Channels Television News.
The falling standard of education in Nigeria has been linked to the illusion created by economic prosperity records, which build on the extractive sector rather than growth based on productivity. The president of the Chartered Institute of Personnel Management, Mr. Victor Famuyibo, and some experts, they say they're worried that government has continued to pay less attention to improving the quality of education. Our correspondent Olu Phillips reports.
Once again, the question of how well we're not doing with our approach to educational development is raising passionate concern, this time among these managers of human minds.
As a human resource institute, we recognize that a high standard of education at all levels presents opportunities for people to be better skilled and be more employable.
8.3% is the most we've done in terms of budget spending on education. Ghana is set to do 30%. UNESCO recommends about 22%. So, why are we acting differently?
If our politicians are sufficiently educated, we will not be in the mess we are in today. If our policymakers are doing what they need to do, they are sufficiently equipped with knowledge, we will not be where we are today. Why should ASU be on strike for 7 months to make a point?
Public schools have effectively collapsed. Therefore, people are having to spend. That spending means we're spending more of private money on what is a public good.
There's clearly a link between the fit-to-purpose educational standard and national development, which suggests that Nigeria needs to engage a different approach.
Internships and studentships and all the rest of them must be part of our new education system. But above all, for some of us who are in the universities, it is important that we forge collaboration with industry in the areas of research and the utilization of research.
It is wrong to say government has no business in education. It has business in education, but that business has to be very clearly defined in terms of giving general policy direction, general guidance, certain standards.
The teaching staff, the academic staff, are they qualified? Do we need to work on them? Do we need to reskill them so that we can prepare them better for them to teach the young ones?
The key takeaway from this conference is the advocacy that education must be funded, industry must contribute in the curriculum development, and the fact that we must quickly move away from an extractive-driven economy to a productive one, galvanized by quality education. Olu Phillips, Channels Television News.
And now to our community report tonight. Indigents of Barkin-Ladi local government area of Plateau State are mourning their dead following an attack on 4 of its communities which left about 40 people dead. The attack occurred as residents were sleeping and most of the victims were said to have been shot at close range. The hunt is on to find the attackers as no one has claimed responsibility for the attack.
Now, your turn.
Barkin-Ladi local government in Plateau State turned into mourning after 40 people were brutally killed by unknown gunmen. The assailants, as usual, sneaked into the village at midnight, set some houses on fire, and then killed their victims. Coming after an attack in the same environment last month, the assailants attacked the 4 villages of Tatu, Rawuru, Gurabrok, and Dorong simultaneously.
It's fresh.
It was well coordinated because in all these 4 villages, the action took place at the same time. So you can imagine that it was a same group. It was a syndicate of a group that was able to handle these coordinated attacks.
At Tatu village, where 4 different families, numbering 15, were killed, a mass burial was given, as corpses could not be taken to the mortuary due to mutilation and severe burns.
It is very difficult to imagine why this is happening. When we seem to see as if there is security all over, but yet these people are penetrating and in the night, burning houses, killing people, and no action in terms of security as far as I have heard.
In another village of Rawuru, a family of 8 consisting of father, mother, and 5 children, including a 1-year-old, were killed by the attackers, while 5 others were seriously injured.
In fact, they started operation around that 12 o'clock till around 12:48. They are still here together with us. And in fact, none of us was able to even have a help for each other because there are too many in the village, of which they decided with one house like that, They even operate there and they kill one girl like that in the room, and about 5 they are now in the hospital.
The Special Task Force, in a press statement, confirmed the attacks in the villages, putting the figures of deaths at 37 with 5 injuries, while security personnel have been drafted to the affected areas.
Now, when the news at 10 returns, Techno launches Phantom A phone.
Plus, Sterling Bank launches agent banking. Stay with us.